The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of us.
Survivor. Hi, everybody. It's Casey with Pinecase. Tonight, I get to hang out with a good friend of mine, Caleb Hart, who has been just reminding everybody what we need to be doing. When things come around, you got to take initiative and make people know what they need to know when they need to know it, and setting vibe standards like everywhere you go. My goodness, because when I say I stood in the audience, I wasn't standing there for very long before everybody around me was moving. We were all grooving and having a really, really good time. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
How have you been?
Oh, just going through the realities of life, just like everybody, you know?
Yeah. It seems to be too like this time of the year. I don't know.
Totally.
Right? It's like the pressure of like the holidays and the weather change, and go from like the outdoor festivals to, finding shows indoors and all of that stuff that kind of comes with it. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, just being inside more and like not warm.
Yeah.
I'm a warm lover, so it's like just not experiencing that as much as I would love to usually, you know what I mean? And then all the things that happen, it seems like that happens, and then things like other things start to happen as well, almost like I don't know, seasons have a kind of it's interesting. It's a mystery, really.
Yeah, no, I feel like everybody kind of goes through it. Like I get so what's it called? Cabin fever. And then like your mind starts going to places that it wouldn't normally go. And then the people you're interacting with in your day, they're all going through that same thing. So where it used to maybe be like, the vitamin D, happiness for everyone, it's like maybe some of the interactions that you have in a day are just not the same that they would be if it was summertime. It's just,
Yeah. And if everybody's going through it like as kind of a collective, then, there's just that reality where you're feeling it more than just yourself, because it's atmospheric or vibical or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the things that you do to like to keep your mind right during that?
Yeah, I mean, the realities of being a single parent and a musician is a bit interesting because there's not the shows. Shows obviously is my joy, right? Like playing music is my joy, one of my joys. So there's not as many shows, there's not as much going on. So really and truly, me and Nova just lime and try to have fun, take her to the pool or to the trampoline park or whatever. And then on Sunday evenings, I try not to miss my sweat, football, soccer.
Yeah,
that's fully for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, better that, and try to make sure that music is still coming out, creation is still taking place, so that I'm not sitting stagnant. You see the flag behind me there, Emancipation, new album. So,
congratulations! What a thing! Like, my God, when you guys like listen, and she's so sweet in that video. Like, you can pick her out of a crowd anyways, but she is just a ray of sunshine. My God, when I was watching that, it like made me feel a little misty-eyed because it's nice to see like a dad doing his thing and be able to bring his daughter into the projects and stuff like that. But she's just I mean, kids are cool anyway, but because she's yours and she's already got that like by default, it's just really fun to watch that. I appreciate you sharing that with us out here on the outside looking in. It's really neat.
Yeah, she's everything. She's a blessing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we talk about voices for a second? Because I thought I knew what my favorite song was when I went through. And then I heard that cut and I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah. That keeps happening to people, I think. People like, they listen to Lambo like, oh my God, I love Lambo. I think this is my favorite song. Emancipation rolls around. They're like, oh wait, maybe Emancipation is my favorite song. And then yeah, this Thursday the music video for Voices is dropping. So I think more people will watch it and listen to it because we're not in an album culture much anymore. So it's kind of like that's why I'm doing all of these songs, even though it's an EP. I'm doing them kind of as singles, just dropping, So, but Voices though, fire. Like I'm not usually like, as you would probably know, I'm not an artist who like sits down and raves about his own music. That's not. Right. I'm not the artist that picks you up and they're listening. You're listening to my song. Like
just bumping.
Quite the contrary. Right. You know what I mean? But I'd be lying if I haven't made my daughter listen to Voices a bit too many times. You know what I mean? There's a few on the album, but Voices is like just nonstop. I went ham on that without eating pork.
That is so much fun. Well, the imagery when you like gave us a little teaser anyways, like I love that style, like that. Like I feel like I'm in somebody's notebook in the back of their mind. Like I get to be part of like this, some sort of campaign. And then, because I got the little email on the backside, I got to like have a couple of moments with it by myself. And I was like, it's a full anthem. It is like a full anthem of just like, I'm excited to see the full length. I thought I knew. And with Lambo, I mean, clearly that's a love letter, right? It's obvious, exactly. That's such a love letter and it's so beautiful. And I think you don't even have to know where that is to appreciate what you're saying, because you make it so very clear to what you want us to know and what you experience there. And I all of a sudden I was like, man, like, because it made me feel proud of just being from the islands. But I was like, man, this is so specific and like such a love letter to your life. And when man, it's deadly. But with Voices, I felt like it was such a call out to everybody.
Exactly.
Right. Like
exactly.
You didn't have to know nothing. You didn't have to understand anything. You just kind of went into it and it just felt like it was for everybody. And
that's why the verse starts with all kind of color, all kind of shade, everybody blood red at the end of the day. Yeah. That's why I say it. I'm kind of like, yo, I ain't care where you're from, where you look like. At the end of the day, all of we blood red and we experiencing what I said in the chorus for sure. So it's our choice though, whether we want to choose peace or not.
Right.
For the things that we're in control of course, I'm also very privy to the fact that we could sit here privileged, living in a safe country for the most part, all these things, and just be like, just for me, I want to take these privileges, acknowledge them, but not let them just make me a spoiled brat, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't grow up like this, and many of us didn't. So, and even now, it's like, yes, it's privileges. We don't have bombs dropping on us. We give thanks for that. But then what's happening community-wise, mentally, cost of living, etc. So taking the truths of the world, like the greater picture than my own, the greater picture than Canada's people or whatever, West Coast or whatever it is, and kind of going, we all going through something. We're all going through a lot of different things, it seems. Mm-hmm. And as much as we can, we had to choose peace, because otherwise, whoever the day is wins. The system, whatever that I talk about in Rhythm Man later on in the album, So the album has a whole bunch of, connectivity in there while taking you on a journey and still making you feel like you're relaxing on a beach in the Caribbean. You know what I mean?
Which you accomplish every single time. Like every time we do this, it's like, because we're talking about like, what are you at, 7 studio albums now? Like
seven albums,
man, every single one of them is just like, it's such a collective, and it feels almost like I said a journal earlier, but almost like a scrapbook of everything that you go through, which is why it feels so relatable. But at the same time, there's just like this constant through all of it, which is at the end, like you just feel good listening to it. Like as a consumer, I feel good. I feel like I know what's happening or what I need to be doing. It reminds me of like, you know, what's happening, and to like take a few minutes, because that's all the things that we do when the sun is shining. That's all the things that we do when we, you know, take time for ourselves. And we can use fancy words like being mindful and all of that. But, you know, we've all had a day at the beach, or a day, you know what, I don't know, baling hay. I don't even care what it is, on a fishing boat, whatever it is for you.
Yeah,
like,
precisely.
right. And that's the feeling that you have, or I have, when I listen to it, all of them. And so I just think it's so neat that you found a way to be eclectic without being overwhelming or tacky or confusing.
It's a fine line at all times, and it's not as, I think, you know, naturally it flows out to me. However, making sure that it stays true to the authenticity of Island Soul is important to me. You know what I mean? Like, not just being Island, not just being soul. I don't know.
Right.
Like, you know, it's like kind of like, yo, if I just do soul, which I could do, if I just do soul, meaning if I just constantly just pour out everything I'm feeling, everything I'm thinking, then I'm not saying it won't be great or good or whatever, but in my life, I've realized that throughout everything I go through, have gone through, etc., I still realize that there's always a scarlet thread of hope.
Yeah.
So then I take that truth and I then incorporate the truth of my life into my recording, into my writing, etc. So it has to have hope in it, because that's what I believe is true. Yeah. So therefore, I want the truth to be what I portray. So yeah, it's interesting where I'm talking about all these realities of life, and it's like,
but just, you know, eat, sit, have a cocktail, relax, and listen to the old people talk. Like, and you took us there live. Like, I came out and checked you out at Reggae and Jerk Fest, and I mean,
cocktails and jerk. Yeah.
Oh yeah, cocktails and jerk fest.
I was like, where did we? Oh yes, played so many shows. I was like,
right.
I know I saw you wanted.
Yeah. And I had like, I'm so spoiled, right? So I had like, you know, my kids there and my grandparents there. And
yes,
so
you had generations. I remember you saying that.
Yeah,
that's so special. As an artist, I feel like that's such a special reality to watch, like 3-4 generations experience my music. I'm like, yo, what did I do to get? What an honor. That's amazing.
Yeah, we had 4 generations there, and it was so neat, because I got to see, you know, my grandparents appreciate my kids, and back and forth, and teach each other. And the nice thing about that festival is that they talk about culture a lot, and so you're not just getting entertainment, you're getting like knowledge and you know, food and all the things. So it's just such a great space to begin with. And then you came on, and when you told everybody, when you started talking about flags and how you need to go and grab your flag, like,
grab your flag.
I have my bandana hanging always. It's hanging off the car seat, hanging off the dash, hanging off my pocket, whatever. And it was interesting because my partner, he never asked me about it ever. I don't think it's never really been talked about. And he comes from a different culture where, like, you know, they're farmers, right? So they wear them too, but for like same reasons, different reasons, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And so that day I had bought a new one, and for no real specific reason, but we were headed down there and I was like, whatever, and grabbed one. And so when you said that, it like validated some of the things that he's like witnessed me do culturally.
Even though he hasn't questioned it, he's probably questioned it in his mind, and then all of a sudden it made sense.
He is so funny. He was like, okay, I'll never ever question nothing. Like, he was just like, all right. I'm like, it's a thing. The coolest moment.
Yeah, it's a thing. That's the Caribbean culture basically encompass. It's a thing.
It's a thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
It was it was fun. So yeah, thank you for you know, just being a reason to get out there and check it out. I highly recommend that experience to everybody. And then where did you head after that? Because you haven't stopped since.
Yeah, so well, it's funny because I'm now thinking back to that, and I was like, yo, what's crazy is Emancipation hadn't even begun being recorded, and this was like September, and it's already out.
That's wild.
And that's insane. So I met Jaden Brown on August 25th at Island Fest, first ever Caribbean Carnival on Vancouver Island.
Right. Okay.
Met him there, heard his production. I was like, yo, this is good. You know what I mean? And I'm working on tons of stuff with Forward to the Roots, my like really long, ridiculous album that,
Yeah.
and then with my boy Rhett from Sonic Alley and the Royal Youths, and like he's been playing with me he's almost always with me, you know what I mean? Unless I'm solo. So I'm working on stuff and then working on Sonic Alley stuff, and there's so much going on. And then this EP didn't even exist when September 7th or 8th or whenever you saw me. So like 2 months ago. It didn't even exist. I knew Jaden and we kind of had a plan to link up. Then when I reached back from that exact weekend, wherever I went somewhere else. And when I reached back the Monday night, Tuesday, I went in the studio and wrote and recorded this song, the lead, like the title track. We thought it was just going to be this song. And then let's say a week passed. And I just had this like, yo, me and this man need to do more, yeah?
I love it.
And I had a little bit of time and a little bit of money. You know, it's end of summer, so I had my like touring money that usually sustains me a little bit into winter. Now I'm broke again before winter even really. But I have a piece of work that I am so incredibly proud of to show for it, you know. But music's an interesting place because, you know, I link up with Jaden, record this incredible album, decide to get it out. All this stuff with the Junos happens, which we'll chat about.
Yeah.
I kind of decide, I'm like, yo, I need this album out now. Like, for some reason, I was just like, I need to drop this now. And I don't usually feel like that. Even from a marketing perspective, it's not very smart these days. You want like a 6 weeks prior and get your publicist organized and da-da-da. And I'm just like, yo, you see me? I'm Caleb Hart. I can do whatever I want. Like, because I don't like to let the industry, the way that the industry is or the way the algorithms are, necessarily guide me. Meaning they affected me nonstop. Oh my gosh, it's nonstop the fight, as you would know.
I've been watching. I deal with the same thing. It's wild. Like, tell me I don't have copyrights to my own stuff. It's
the music I wrote and recorded, like you know, all me and Jaden, whatever. I'm the owner of this song. Yeah. And they're pulling YouTube pull stuff, Facebook blocking me. Facebook told me that I'm trying to impersonate a public figure.
Yeah. You're like, I am that public figure.
I mean, is it me? Am I trying to impersonate me?
But then what is the point? What's the point of getting the blue check mark? What is the point of doing all this stuff?
And then why did you verify me if it's not verified? The word verified, like, hello, this shouldn't be happening. No. So anyway, I think all figured out for now. My reach is at 0.07% of my followers or some madness. But of course, they're showing my stuff to random people who will never listen to my album. Like, bro, I don't actually care for that, to be honest. I'm a roots man. I'm okay. I built this from scratch. I've done this a long time. I don't know. I'm not a famous man, but there's thousands and thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that want to hear Caleb Hart. Please just show them. Just tell them I'm paying you. I'm not asking you for free though. I'm paying you. Just at least show them now. Oh my Lord! It shows up in front of the same 100 people's face. The ad, same 100 people. Those people have listened to my music. If they don't get annoyed by seeing my face 19 times because Facebook's only showing them. Right. And it's like, bro, you know what to do. I know your algorithms are smarter than that. So stop your stupidness. But here we are. You know, here we are once more.
I tried to explain this the other day because we have a lot of people from the States that have been chiming in and they're like, what is going on with Canada? Like, why we don't hear nothing. And I'm like, really? They're like, no, like, they're like, if I even follow you, you can throw me in like a tag and I don't notice until like 2 days later until it. Like,
no, it doesn't even show up in your notifications anymore.
No.
You're just like, what?
Yeah.
But boy, am I seeing, you know, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and then certain music stuff like curated to me about new recording equipment or whatever. It's like always. So I'm just like, okay, how much are these people spending? Because like, if I'm dropping $5 on an ad to just show my people,
right?
How much are you spending? Because I'm seeing your stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So well, it's hard to,
and you're also like attached to a lot of stuff because when like that Juno thing, like I called my grandpa and I was like, we got to talk about this because he's been in the Caribbean Canadian music industry since before I was born, right? Like he used to be a radio DJ out of Toronto. He's been, he used to do nights in Edmonton, and like, he had a recording studio in Vancouver. And so like, this is nothing new to him. And I was like, can you help me with this list of people? And so we were chatting back and forth and stuff. And he was like, I don't know about any of this. And I'm like, what? And he's like, and it's not like he's not on the internet. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, holy man. So I had to like run the whole story back from him. And he was like, wait. And I told him about you.
Most people found out. Well, at least I don't want to say most people found out, but a lot of people found out because of me. Like
through you.
Yeah. Like
100%.
A lot. And then my boy Arlo Maverick.
Right.
I just realized I'm wearing his hoodie.
Yeah,
but like literally, if it wasn't for me and Arlo, at least on the West, I'm sure that Toronto was doing their stuff too. But at least in the West, if it wasn't for me and Arlo, probably nothing would have been said.
I don't think so. Because it was everything came out after you were talking about it before you were on CBC talking about it. And so, correct. And we didn't hear nothing before. Nothing was said before that. So I don't know like who started the conversation and like where you picked it up, if it was because you put in or whatever. I don't know how it started, but 100%, like when I tell this story, I'm like, it's because of Caleb Hart. Like, that's why we know, that's why I perpetuated that conversation. It was easy to use you as a reference. And that's why it's still wild that like you were out here talking about like major things in the Canadian music industry. Like, it should be easy to be running your name anyways, because you are out there doing interviews and conversations and all sorts of stuff. So
three different provinces CBC's contacted me. No, four different provinces.
Wow.
But I know how CBC works, so I actually gave a person from each province to that CBC rather than let me do it. So even stuff like that, it's like forward to the roots, fam. This is somebody in Saskatoon. You don't know them? Well, here you go. This is someone in Winnipeg. Here you go. Because I'm Victoria based, I'm BC based, so I kept it to BC. But man, it was crazy to experience that reality where it's just like, yo, nobody knows this happened. Now that is partially on Karas to blame, Junos, whoever. I doubt they'll ever see this, but I don't care if I have submissions in. I will continue to talk about this. That is mostly a Karas problem. I am a Karas member, and many of my colleagues are, of course, and we didn't get any emails. I found out because of a publication from Reggae North, who I subscribe to.
Okay.
Because Reggae North's doing actual reggae, like promo or forwarding intensely. They just actually had their first awards in September.
Okay.
And like Tugstar from Vancouver flew out there and performed and stuff. It's pretty cool. They're trying to actually bridge the gap in Canada, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. But I found out via that. I can't remember if the DJ who is affiliated with them sent it to me, but it was like pretty new. Like it was like yesterday or whatever, Karas told the members of the reggae committee. But so I found out via my whatever connection privileges, and immediately it was like, nah. So I started making a real noise, because even thinking about it now, I'm just like, I cannot believe the audacity, or as I call it, the caucasity.
Yes,
because that is some bull. And I said it on CBC. I was like, we're here, we've been here, we're not going anywhere, so let it try. And then, of course, thankfully, we worked hard and fought hard and got it reinstated. So it is a category again, which is incredible. But I told many people, I said, y'all need to take this seriously, because look at what's happening. You could blame Karas and blame the Junos all you want, but reggae never relied on the system anyway. So how you gonna...
It's kind of
like
right,
which point. So therefore, you gotta
which was kind of this is the conversation I had with my grandpa, and he was like, it's kind of a catch-22 here, because the history and the culture of the music has always been to be, word of mouth and, personal, and it's how we, meet each other, and that's the fun of it. Like, that has always been the fun of it. However, people still need to we still got bills to pay. So how do you, right? And so, like, how do you do it? How do you stay true to the history of it? And I mean, there's a lot going on with the history of it too right now, because we got into a deep conversation the other day about him. He's like, man, Rastaman's trying to take reggae. Reggae was out before Rasta. So, like, the old guys are talking like it's wild down there right now. But how do you do that? Because we're, that genre is essentially responsible, and unfortunately, it's kind of historically never really been one for. I don't want to say putting the dollar first, right? But it's just not like, it's not like country music where, everyone's going mad in debt.
That being said, it is incredibly integral to remember that even though we, as true reggae artists, or whatever you want to call reggae in its essence, doesn't put the dollar first, the dollar has followed reggae.
Yes. Yeah.
And hasn't actually paid reggae. So
right.
the dollar gets bigger because of reggae, right?
Absolutely.
So there's a gap in the same way there's a gap with what's going on in the Congo and Sudan and Haiti and Venezuela, and right, there's a gap there where it's like, all right, fine, sure, Haiti doesn't care to, the average Haitian doesn't care to all just have a lavish life or whatever you want to argue, right? Most people want a regular life, like meaning I good if I get my fish and my bread and my thing and my lady and my, right? Like most humans are, it's the West that has really glorified always having to have something, the bigger the boat and the bigger the this and the bigger the house and the nicer the car, right? That's new. Yeah. So anyway, that being said, reggae is on Drake's albums. Reggae is on Justin Bieber's records. Reggae is Rude by Magic, which blew the world 5 times over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Snow Informer still is in the Guinness Book of Records.
Right.
Like, I could go on and on and on. Bob 100%. Marley, legend, is one of the top 10 or top 3, I can't remember right now, but a literal historical top selling album, which is crazy to think of if you really think of the fact that it came from a little island in the Caribbean. The Caribbean on a whole, but from even one island in the Caribbean, like, what? That's crazy to think of, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, just for like, I mean, you're talking something that's the third the size of Vancouver Island, for real, and the population even smaller. You know what I mean? We're not talking. It's like it, and that's not. I mean, Bob Marley has a culture of his own. It's not even that it's reggae anymore. It's like,
Bob absolutely
Marley is a completely separate entity from reggae music. Yeah.
But it is still reggae, so therefore reggae made the money. And reggae didn't get paid the money, right? There's the guy who, he was saying, and Georgie would make the fire light, right? Georgie was supposed to own rights to one of the songs, to that song, if I'm not mistaken, and died, again, I don't know if he was poor, I don't know if he was middle class, whatever, but he died in Trenchtown without all of those stuff. Where did the money go? Because people often will demonize even the Marley family and but it's like, y'all don't understand, the Marleys didn't even get the money.
You can Google that or Wikipedia. I mean, Rita, she fought hard. And I don't even know if she was really fighting like for even necessarily her. I don't even think she was fighting for the money as much as she was fighting for just the principle of it. Like, if you go back and watch some of that stuff and listen to what she's saying, like, I mean, she did a great job, because I think ultimately she ended up buying the bank, or she owned more than the bank did or whatever. So she came out all right. And then she turned around and invested that in. And you look at like, Tough Gong and everybody. I mean, they did a beautiful job of flipping that on its head. But that's the thing. It's like, when you talk about it, it wasn't about I mean, it is about the money essentially, but it was more about the principle of the money wasn't there. And it's just wild to me that is like the conversation is still happening. Caleb, I haven't stopped talking about it. I've been so frustrated lately because everyone's, or not frustrated, but just like everyone's like, oh, we don't hear about this, we don't hear about that. And I'm like, yeah, right. But it was like they thought they could sneak it through the back door. Like they didn't, it wasn't, I can't remember what the statement was, but it was like, we didn't need it or something like that. But there was more to the story than just reggae, right? Because wasn't it also like gospel and the children's categories?
So there was 4 categories: reggae recording, children's album, gospel album, and international album of the year.
Okay.
So personally, I had no interest in fighting for international album of the year, mostly because there's already subcategories that have like global album. Now they introduced South Asian album or something like that. Like there's things, but also Juno is Canada, so them scrapping international album. Who am I to fight for that, really and truly? But obviously reggae was my primary, mostly not necessarily because it's my genre or one of my genres or whatever, but due to honor. Like same thing you were just talking about. It's like about the principle. It's like reggae in Canada is older than the Junos.
Right.
Reggae in Canada is older than the Juno Awards. So how dare you?
How dare you?
Right. How dare you? It was coming up to the 50th anniversary of it being a category in the Junos. The 50th.
Even to joke about doing it like at a time where it should be recognized is just super disrespectful. Like
that's how I saw it. I was like, what you should be doing is organizing me, Kirk Diamond, Amoy, some like a cross Canada reggae night, or not night, but a performance. Kind of similar to what Damien and Rihanna and them did on the Grammys like 14, 15 years ago. Right. I can't remember now, but I think maybe it was for Bob's 50th or something. I can't remember now. But I remember it being like a thing. Why didn't the Junos reach out and go, yo, you're kind of like the West Coast guy. Hey, you're the Alberta person. And just put 7 or 8 reggae artists from Canada, or even past nominees. I don't know, something. And going, can we get a 5-minute medley? Even if they asked us to sing Bob.
That would have been deadly. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
But why wasn't Snow? I don't know, something like 50 years of reggae music in as a category in the Junos. Instead, you cancel it.
I mean, it's wild. That's wild. That's wild to me. That's wild. It's so disrespectful. It doesn't make any sense.
Say nothing. If you find, I said this on CBC, I think. I've had so many conversations, it's hard to know where I said what. But if you found that submission numbers were low, and you are the main or one of the main music platforms for Canadian musicians, right? And you find submissions low, how is your go-to to just cancel it and just tell the committee, don't send an email, whatever happened to local, hey, so things are really low with children's album, gospel album. I'm saying if this is one of the reasons, I don't actually know because nothing was told to us. So everything is speculation, which I hate, but you had to do. Why don't say, gospel Christian, like children's and reggae, just say, oh no, things are kind of, low right now, blah, blah, blah. Men like me would respond and say, yeah, because you don't tell anyone we exist. Yeah. And you have a job outside of giving out our award 1 weekend a year. Music Counts gets my money. Karas gets my money. Yeah. CBC gets my money. These are all, and I don't mean mine, I mean yours too. These are all government subsidized. CBC is a government subsidized thing. Yeah. Or, get me to do an 8-minute interview on CBC, and CBC is who presents the Junos. Right.
They're asking what's going on.
Like, I understand that, there's umbrella and there's... But I'm like, bro, somebody here in the same umbrella I'm having the interview in someone here made a decision, or 3 people or 5 white men, whatever. I'm just like, what? How am I then having an interview basically saying all of this here?
Right.
So
Right.
now I'm thinking, okay, did they ask it knowing that reggae people would be like, nah? And so we made noise. So now people started buzzing about the Junos. So now the conspiracy reggae part of me starts
Is
tapping
like,
in. I'm
wait,
like, did
'cause
I
you
just make
dropped
the Junos relevant
you,
to Black and Caribbean people again? Not me alone,
yeah.
of course, but I just say, did I just put, because nobody's talking about them? Because I'm like, I wonder. Because obviously country and rock and pop, everybody,
Mhm.
that matters to them, right? But reggae, we never benefit. So Exco Levi and Kirk Diamond and Amoy and them have nominations and wins and stuff, but really, so they get a little 2-3 festivals, or they get a little $2,000-$3,000 more per show. Congratulations. I said this on, I was like, reggae never needed the Junos.
No.
However, it is important for honor to exist, right? Now, it's not to say, all right, let's say there was no reggae category and nobody fighting for one to be instated in Canada, because Canada is lacking a reggae industry outside of Toronto and Montreal, right? When I am the person that everybody in Western Canada calls, and then I have to give 3 or 4 guys or a job, sometimes that's not an industry. You catch what I'm
Right.
saying? A Tobagonian white guy, like meaning light-skinned Tobagonian guy, is the face of reggae music in Western Canada, or the most recognizable face, wherever you want to
You
put it.
don't have to double that back,
shouldn't
because I watched that conversation happen. Like it was you, and that's what's wild. Like, not only did you make like reggae, I don't want to say it was relevant, but it wasn't
just at the forefront.
obviously.
Again, algorithms and
Totally.
all that stuff exist.
Mhm.
So
Right. And now all of a sudden, like, I mean, Kirk Diamond actually started following me on Instagram the other day, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely because of that. Like, there's no other way that those connections would have been made. You know what I mean? Like,
nice.
yeah, 100%. And it's like, so for you to like even hesitate on that, like, no, like all of those pieces started fitting together, and then it got people talking, to the elders again. Like, my grandpa's been out there having coffee and talking about it again, because everyone's like, well, what's going on? And like, so I don't know if that was their intention, or if that's what happened after you got everybody up off their seats, but it had a beautiful
I just think
effect.
that they knew reggae people,
Right.
because so either they're real stupid and they just blind and just did something,
Or they're
not
real
thinking about it, or they're real smart. And listen, from what I've heard, the director of the Junos, Alan Reed, is a fantastic guy. Literally came from scratch. Was a radio, like worked his way up from literally being a teenage apprentice in a radio station or something. That's what I've heard. So I also appealed to his personal side via a friend. So I kind of used some nepotism, so to speak, but it wasn't for me, of course. So it's greater nepotism, whatever that's called. But it's like, yo, here's the scene. I think you need to message your friend because this is crazy kind of vibes. So, but what? Yeah, it just leaves so much room for speculation. So then someone said, one person, I'm sure many people, but I saw one comment that said, so for the next generation, for the spiritual and for the spiritual that don't need a label. So that's us. So Christian or gospel album of the year. So a massive part of Canadians, or a massive percentage of Canadians, are Christians, right? Or Judaic believing people. Then the Rastas, the Hindus, Buddhists, the atheists, whoever it is that are reggae people. Us, right? Then children's album, the next generation. So then people started getting, I'm not that usually that far conspiracy, whatever, but people started being like, yo, what are the odds though that the three, and then international album. So multiculturalism.
I was going to say that one is almost like you're talking about Canada is the melting pot of the world. Like, what do you mean?
So there's that, and people were kind of like, yo, this seems a bit sus, because ain't no way, like, I don't know, songwriter performer of the year or whatever. Like, I don't know, there's so many that because I've been on that website too many times where I'm just like, or like different types of hip hop or different types of R&B or different types of rock or whatever. I'm just like, interesting.
Right.
Now, So then you're wondering, was it submissions, or was it,
Or was it a
what is that?
message? Like,
Because reggae music usually, so you had almost two types of reggae. One is a love song, right? The lovers rocks and and then fighting on the system.
Yeah.
Or talking about the system. So you have dancehall that's talking the reflection of reality we face in the ghetto, right? And some of them, of course, live in it, right? But in that, there's the system that has caused that to take place. So, and a lot of us fight that down, use the music to fight down that system. So it's kind of like,
I kind of feel like, because if they had to put together that show, if they had said, this is what we're going to do, we're going to put, I mean, Kirk Diamond and you are the easy ones to go to in my mind, right? So say we're going to do this, we're going to reach out, this is what we're going to make the show look like. Would that have got the same amount of press and conversation? I don't know, because it would have been advertised.
I think the answer is yes, because here's the thing, is like, they're doing it in a way that currently bad news spreads fast.
Right.
And that's something that we're paying for every day. We're watching it every single day.
Yeah.
Right. So I believe personally that if they had gotten 7 or 8 of us from across across Canada, Western and Eastern and Central and everything, and put it together, and each of us had made a 2-3 posts about it, what? That would have buzzed like crazy.
Right.
Because the difference is the community would have had a sense of pride, right? Yeah. Meaning they would have been like, oh man, look at this finally. Personally, I'm glad it happened the way it happened. Because we were nonchalant. We've been nonchalant. We've been lackadaisical. Right? It's easy to just go America or go to Europe or go Hawaii, do a show too. Wherever. I know I live in a place that don't really study it and move on with our lives. It's easy to do that. Well, being a reggae artist or being a reggae person, regardless, is not easy. It's not, this is not cushy. No. This is not, it really isn't. People may listen to it and picture, right, as we were mentioning in the beginning of the thing, their toes in the sun and a drink in their hand. Yeah, sure. But really and truly, voices, you listen to that second verse and I just go full blown, right? And there's innuendos and double entendres and all sorts of stuff in there, but it's like reggae in and of itself has been a fight down of the system. So I'm glad it happened, because the system itself, in music at least, said, we don't really care about you. Regardless of their intentions, I don't really know. And if I never get a nomination because I've spoken so much about it, I don't really care, because guess who still has a career? And you know what I mean? Like, hard work and lots of dedication to being excellent, is what really has gotten me to this point. So if I always kind of broke but always free, I alright with that.
Right. I feel the same way. I feel the absolute same way. You know what I mean? I don't own a whole lot, but I don't got no debt either. So it is what it is.
Easy like that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind if we listen to voices for just half a second and let everybody in the comment section hear it out for a little bit? And just for everybody that's chilling out there, we see you. There's thanks for everybody for like coming through tonight. Goodness gracious, CMC Music Connections out there, your passions in there, Felice, Jordan with J Life, and honestly, it's kind of a mashup of like gospel and reggae and hip hop all up in the comment section right now, which I appreciate. So thank you guys for coming out tonight. But yeah, let's listen to it for a quick second so that people know what we're talking about, because it's nice.
Run the tune.
Caleb Hart again. Got a lot of voices in my head. Too many voices. I choose peace instead. Got a lot of voices in my head. Too many voices. I choose peace instead. All kind of color. All kind of shade, everybody blood red at the end of the day. Slingshot in my hand, by my waist is a blade. Fishing on the rocks, body surfing the waves. Pick a coconut, Use the blade to chop it. Drink down the water, check for jelly when you split it. Jeez, this is what I like. Island soul living, the real good life. Fresh tamarind juice sipping. Sorrel during Christmas, smell of fresh bread baking. Pastels making. New year roll around, resolutions taking. Gym owner them raking. Then candle calypso stating. Sans humanity, extempo playing. Then we masquerading. Steel pan a beat, then we masquerading. Steel pan a beat, then we masquerading. A lot of voices in my head. Too many voices. I choose peace instead. Got a lot of voices in my head. Too many voices. I choose peace instead. At times the lyrics cut deep, occasionally drop jaws. Yet again blessed with my presence, but I'm not Santa Claus. If you wanna bow down, play some padding on the floor. 2 knees spent, gambling on all fours. Don't need no clap. Save your round of applause. I'm not here to save you, just to show you the door. Allow the truth to illuminate your flaws. Maybe bandage you up and then rip off the gauze. I got something to admit, I have an addiction to improving my craft without contradiction. And improving myself as a mere human. Become the best version of me, always be a better man. No, I'm not a witch, but I can spell it out for you. Where you don't understand, then dig a little deeper. Seek tranquility, become a silent seeker. Seek tranquility, become a silent seeker. Got a lot of voices in my head. Too many voices. I choose peace instead. Got a lot of voices in my head. Too many voices. I choose peace instead. Got a lot of voices, got a lot of voices, got a lot of voices in my head. A lot of voices. I choosing peace instead. We got a lot of voices, a lot of voices, a lot of voices.
Matt, are you joking with me? Like all day. I was just like, nah, this is it. Yeah.
Wait till you find out that I wrote that song in like 20 minutes. Like 22, 23 minutes. And what's crazy is I had sent Jaden a voice note.
Yeah.
Something like, I forget now, but it's something like, da-da-da, da-da-da, ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. It was just like an idea with lyrics. I forget the lyrics now. And he literally just basically almost all the whole album. He just like took my little voice notes that I just was like, hey, here's an idea for like Lambo. Here's an idea for this. And this one was nothing to do with like what I ended up. And I got the studio and he was like, all right, I got something for that one thing you sent. I'm like, all right, slick. Press play. He pressed play. I started doing the thing that I had sent him, and I was like, that ain't it. Got a lot of voices in my head. He's like, oh, that's why. I was like, too many. I choose peace instead. And I'm like, put it on repeat. And I just pull out my phone and literally, he comes back in like 15, 20 minutes later. He's like, how's that verse going? He thinks I've written just the first verse, right? So I'm like, yeah, man, put on the microphone. He puts on the microphone and in one take, the whole song. So the song finishes. Yeah, of course. And he turns back. He was like, you wrote everything just now? I'm like, he's like, bro, I thought we were just going to do the first verse and then I would like leave again. And then, I'm like, no, I just wrote all of that. And he's like, what? Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think that was the...
Man, those are those moments, like, and it comes through like that. Like, it feels like, there's only so many moments that come around in music, and that's one of them. Like, for me, that's one of them. I've listened to a lot of music, like a lot.
Yeah,
spoiled. Absolutely spoiled. But that was when I was just like, oh man, this is, I'm excited. I'm so excited for that song for you. I'm so excited for the whole world for that.
Yeah, so the music video drops this Thursday. My boy Joshua Telford just finished editing it at 4:00 this morning. So
I seen you like a little while ago. Like, this is what I'm like. And do you think, and not to bring it back to like, I don't want to bring it back to like the Junos and say like maybe, but do you feel like that kind of lit a fire up under everybody? Because
I think so.
to put out an album like that quick is wild. And I don't even know if it was like a political, it doesn't need to be like a political statement, that's because of that. But I feel like it kind of like, because we're talking like what, 7 weeks?
Yeah, the album got recorded in, so I went to the studio 3 times. Like maybe 6 to 8 hours per time. So like less than 1 day. Less than 24 hours in the studio. Yeah. Obviously, like Jaden's doing a bunch of post-production, but I'm talking about my vocals. Rhythm Man is a complete freestyle, literally. Like I walked into the studio, kind of similar story, but not the same. I walked in, he was like, so I made a reggae beat, my first ever reggae beat, ting, ting, ting. I'm like, all right, let's hear it. He's like, well, I'm not really done yet. I don't know how I feel, ting, ting, ting. So in freestyle, I say, step in at the studio and tell Jay Brown, turn the mic on. Caleb Hart, and I get into my zone, I'm never wrong, sing another song, make you dance to a different type of rhythm. That's all freestyling about what just happened 2 minutes prior. Because I just told him, bro, stop your shippiness. Pass me the mic. Pass me the headphones and turn on the mic. So out of his hesitance came my non-hesitance. I was like, nah, let me see what comes out of me. And usually what I do in those scenarios when I am recording, usually what I do is I'll listen to the rhythm and I'll record tons of ideas, because obviously I'm quite versatile. So I'm doing low and high and fast and slow and soulful and raga and hip hop and all kind of, I'm taking everything and I'm going through it. I just kept going.
Really?
So I just kept going. Let's say the rhythm was like 2.5 minutes long. He's just like copy pasting like the bars. I'm just like, okay, he's still going. So I just freestyled it all. And then we didn't do no backing vocals, nothing. It was one take, never written. That's what Rhythm Man is. So that's later on in the album. But yeah, it's just like,
oh no, listen, okay, yeah, like, yeah, you sent me a whole bunch of stuff. So like I said, I feel spoiled, but like, yeah, I love that. And like, what's interesting is when you hear those like intros or interludes or those like moments, you don't really get to hear like the backstory of like what really happened. And I always just assume that most of them are probably made up or whatever, but to know that there's like actual moments that happen like that is really neat.
Yeah, pretty much all of recording with, my working with Jaden was just like divine. It was so beautiful. He's such a sweetheart. He's so incredibly talented. He's only 24 years old. And we have this event on Saturday in Victoria called Vibes and Verses. And he's going to be there, but with his art. So like, cool. He's not performing. He's not playing any instruments. He's not, he's going to be there as an artist, a visual artist. His visual art is absolutely preposterous. And then his girl and him made the flag.
Wow.
Okay. So they like painted scarlet ibis and the palm trees and, and then Violet like sewed on this, and this is all sewed on, you know what I mean? Like it's unbelievable. It's like,
so on your story, I should have snagged a photo of it. So the like the filigree and the flowers on that poster for Vibes and Verses, they did that. That's theirs. Like, is that his?
Oh, I don't know if they made the poster. No, I just he's just one of the artists also there, but not to do with music. Even though we just released like a record, like, and I'm gonna be
It's so cool. There's so many mashups of that happening right now. I feel like everyone's trying to get on like the arts and culture train, like, and actually put those two things together. So I love seeing.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Like this is the second volume 2. First one was in 2022, and that's actually where I met Obed Syke. Earlier this year, of course, we released No Competition, so he's gonna be there on Saturday as well. So it's gonna be like a little reunion.
Very cool.
2.5 years later.
Cool. That's awesome. Oh, that's really exciting. And like, okay, it's like, and just to keep it on this album, like, how did you get these videos done so quickly then? Because those are like a Disney movie.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I don't know. I always say, don't follow your dreams, let your dreams catch up with you. Right. So, boy, am I living it right now. So, Lambo. So I often will see my songs in music videos, even if they don't become a reality. So
Okay.
like I'm very weird. So I'm visualizing certain ideas and stuff that I already only two, of course, Lambo and Emancipation are out.
Yep.
Two completely different songs, two completely different videos. Voices also will be completely different,
Yeah.
like none of them are gonna look even like it almost looks like
Well,
6 different artists,
like Lambo could be like a tourist,
Yeah,
like you could
Destination
sell that
Tobago, precisely.
100%. Like I was
Precisely.
looking at
You know what's
it.
the wildest part is I'm from the side of the island, the fishing side, the more rough side, Like
Yeah.
Lambo is not where people go to bathe in Tobago. Like
Right.
Lambo's ugly compared to
Right.
the other side of Tobago. So it's so funny because when you watch that video, you want to go to Lambo. So imagine you come all the way
Absolutely.
to Tobago, reach Lambo, Caleb Hart's hometown, and then you start driving around Tobago and start seeing what is really considered the pretty, you know what I mean? But it's just super cool because I just wanted people to see what they're hearing,
Yeah.
which is not always the case. Not every video needs to be like that. But Lambo, I wanted you to walk down the street bare feet with me. So those are my nephews, in the video. And my
Really?
sister shot it. Yeah. And then my older nephew who's 15, who's not in the video, is who edited it for me.
What?
So it's 5 hearts. 5 hearts made that video a possibility.
Oh my God. It like makes me misty-eyed to even think about that, because when that came on, I thought it was like an advertisement before your video. You know what I mean? Like that's how clean it is. I was like, damn, like this is wild. Because it always generates some stuff that's kind of like what you're into or whatever.
That
And
was
then
the point.
yeah, and then like 30 seconds into it, I was like, there's not like a skip ad thing or oh shoot, and to know that's like a family project, like that's wild.
Yep.
Wild.
So I had the idea and I just told my sister, I need this, and try this and do. So I was she put directed by Caleb Hart, which was hilarious to me, but I left it anyway because it was funny. Or maybe my nephew put that. But yeah, so and then my 2 youngest nephews were the models, so to speak. Sister was the videographer, and older nephew and my sister did the editing.
I love that.
Pretty magical. And I mean that is it has like over 100,000 views on it.
Yeah.
And it's only 3 weeks ago that I dropped it. So, and then Emancipation, of course, I met Jaden at Island Fest. So what we did was we took the inspiration that we got from Island Fest, and of course my inspiration from growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, and we made the song. So therefore I was kind of like, I bet you there's a bunch of footage from the videographer Vince who captured it. I said, I wonder if he would make a music video for me, but a little cheaper than usual because he don't have the video now, boy. So I reached out to him. He was like, holy crap, it would be an honor, We came up with a price.
Right.
And then got that done. And then voices, I wanted Telford to do it because he lives with me. He works with me nonstop. He's my full-time videographer, basically. He was with me at Cocktails and Jerk.
Yeah.
And so I knew there were certain locations that I wasn't about to hire someone and bring them to because it's like back up bush nowhere up in the mountain in Mount Maxwell.
Right.
Salt Spring Island and like in this dome on Honest Farms on Salt Spring Island. And anyway, and then he got that done this morning because it's coming out on Thursday. He finished it. He edited for like 11 hours straight while I worked over here. He was across from me editing it. And then Step Closer and Rhythm Man are also, so Vince, who did Emancipation, and Telfer. So Vince did, A-roll, Telfer did B-roll and behind the scenes stuff. Then Jaden came as well, and Jaden Brown, the producer of the album, came and he did some BTS shots and some directing. And then is actually in Rhythm Man as well. So it's like
that's such a crossover, like mean team of just like
and that's what it is. It's like teamwork make the dream work. I look like the only artist, but really and truly it's a bunch of artistry around me with those guys. So we have 5 music videos, and then Homeland will take a little more time, etc. I'll let Christmas happen, but I want to get snow shots and stuff like that I don't want to give it too much away, but it
No.
has to be the concept, which is, well, I live here, but I'm thinking about home. And I wrote that one like 8 or 9 years ago in Grand Prairie, Alberta, when it was minus 42. So
right. Yeah, you actually, yeah. It's interesting because that song, I think rings true to so many people that came up here, you know what I mean, that came up and we're going back like a while. In Toronto is probably like most of the hub, but I know a lot of dudes that are up in Fort Mac, a lot of dudes that are sitting in the blue collar industries that came up here, you know, chasing a dream or chasing a paycheck. Yeah, exactly. And I just think that I think that song, I like that song. It just feels like it was just really cool to touch base on that for yourself, but also for everybody else, because it's why we're up here. And like, I don't, you know, when we talk about like people that immigrate to Canada, the Caribbean doesn't really get talked about. We don't get the flack like some of the other cultures do, because we kind of just chill on the backbones. But right. But I mean, the numbers are true. Like, you know, my kids in
the numbers are crazy. Actually, I was looking at them recently, and the numbers are crazy. And then of course there's the diaspora, right? Like maybe you didn't move here, but there's my daughter, and you know, like, so there's children of which Caribbean people, we can't help ourselves. They're gonna know about calypso and reggae and soca and dancehall, and they're gonna eat jerk chicken and stew chicken and oxtail and patties and plantain, and like we're inevitable. Like, but thankfully it's so good, right? Our culture and our food and our music so good that people start to copy it almost, you know what I mean? Like, I can't walk down Toronto without being annoyed because I'm hearing some weird hybrid of Canada and Caribbean accent, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here, you know? And it's only gotten, say I've been going to Toronto for 12 years now, every year I go, I'm just like, oh, it's more now, it's worse. No, you know, same with London. I mean, you know, it's even Calgary, even downtown Calgary, I've heard it, and I'm just like, interesting. We are small, but we are large. The numbers are.
Listen, they got Jamaican patties in 7-Eleven. When I seen that for the first time, I was like,
see, that's crazy. That being said, I would quicker buy a Jamaican patty from 7-Eleven than I would a doubles. So let them keep doubles out there. As a Trinbagonian, I need to make sure that doesn't never happen.
True story. Yeah. True story. Oh, wow. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, you really did it. I think what you've done and what you've been doing is just super important. And I can't brag about you enough, honestly. We talk about you quite a bit over here. And you've definitely become a part of our lives, and like, you know, behind Pinecase as well, because it's brought up a whole thing with me and my grandpa, which has just been amazing. I mean, we've always been able to talk about music, but reggae music specifically has definitely been a big thing with him lately. And like I said, it opened up connections for him to call his old friends and, you know, have those old conversations again. And so that's been really neat to listen to. And because of that, I've got to learn a lot more about, you know, the history of like why maybe, you know, the Rastaman is claiming reggae, but how, you know, reggae is actually like an entity of its own, and all the things I'm pretty sure I knew, but why it's really important now to know. And so I just think it's really nice. It's just a really neat time to be alive for music. And it's really fun to have people in my life like you that are out there doing it, making sure that we all know about it, our kids know about it. And it's just really awesome. So thank you about that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely vital. For everybody that's hanging out with us tonight, you guys, you got to go and check it out. Caleb Hart is not joking around. It is serious stuff. And for all the vibes, I mean, I can put it in the description as many times as I can possibly rewrite it. But at the end of the day, it's just feel good music that makes you think a little bit, which is exactly what we all need to be doing. So go and cop everything that's coming out. Make sure you go and subscribe so you guys know exactly what's going on. We already
that reminds me of something before we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
On December 31st, I saw, there's lots coming, but December 31st, I'm actually dropping a single featuring Tanika Charles. So I'm very excited. It's called Zaboka, which is what Trinbagonians call avocado. Yeah. So, well, not everybody, but a lot of people and in the Greater Caribbean. But yeah, so that song drops.
You mean like pear?
Yeah, pear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we call it Zaboka, which has a lot of different, like, some people say it's from the Haitians who came down, French avocat, all sorts of different, origin stories, the First Nations, the Caribbean people, our ancestors from the Caribbean itself. Anyway, but Zaboka is the name of it. And it's available for pre-saving on my United Masters account, which is all in my link tree in my bio, of course. But anyway, I'm really excited for that, a collaboration with Tanika Charles, who grew up in Edmonton. Which I did not know until we were in Edmonton recording this song. Anyway. So this actually recorded in Edmonton, written and recorded in Edmonton as well. So I'm really excited. From our Trini sister, Tanika is also Trini, so that's pretty cool. But grew up in Edmonton and then Toronto. So it's just cool, like that connection, that Caribbean Canadian connection. You said it, and then you were talking about, go and cop his music, and I was like, wait, I have new music coming out already. Yes. So this is 3 weeks old, but there's already a pre-save. And then in January, releasing Step Up, which is Sonic Alley's first single. So,
I didn't even get to ask about Sonic Alley. Right. Yes. My God. Okay. Make sure you guys go and hit the notification, the subscribe, the and the follow, because obviously you're not messing around. You've been dropping music on the regular for a while now. And we all just learned something. This is what I mean. When you put out music, I'm wait, avocado, we call that pear. There's all it's constantly just this barrage of information, which is just so neat. It's just history lesson, love, light, good vibes. Caleb
and
Hart.
It's funny because Zaboka has a similar concept, or the point I'm trying to drive with voices, but it's nothing like voices. It's like a chill R&B song. Slice this Zaboka, smoother than butter, little sprinkle salt and pepper. Remember to take it slow. Connect your taste buds to your soul. Yeah. So it's and then the actual cover art, which I made, is a Zaboka, an actual picture that my brother took. Oh, just the difference between what people here think avocado is and what you experience back home.
I deal with this every morning.
So I want people to listen to it and picture being in the Caribbean, eating a fresh Zaboka that you just picked off the neighbor's tree. Can't be your tree. It had to be the neighbor's tree, which I explain in the song as well. But anyway, yeah.
That's so funny. Awesome. I know what you mean. I'm roasted breadfruit, acne, and saltfish, and I've been looking for like I said, we call it pear, but you can never find the right avocado up here, so I understand.
No, it's rare. Yeah. It's rare. Beautiful. It's rare to find the pear.
Yeah. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. I really do appreciate it. It's always
my pleasure.
The honor is all mine. Like I said, you guys go and check them out. I do want to run one thing real quick, and that is Pinecase is doing a harm reduction at the Friday the 13th before Christmas. It's happening in Merville, 5 p.m. The doors open, you guys. It's Robbie Rob. He's hanging out. He's got a sick list of DJs. They got DJ Allgood, Aspen King, DJ Line is going to be opening or having a guest appearance. There is Old Man Noises and Acid Santa and more. And so if you guys haven't already got your tickets, I'll throw a promo code in there. $25 is not a lot for a ticket these days, considering you're going to get all the music.
Buy a ticket.
Buy a ticket. Yeah, absolutely. It always goes towards, the conversation for mental health and music. And he's always doing a food drive or a clothing drive, which is super awesome, which is why we always jump on board. But yeah, for everybody out there, thanks for hanging out with me. And once again, Caleb, it's always a pleasure. We'll check you, on the regular. Stay safe, you guys. Bye for now. Yeah, cheers. Stop.
Blood my pride washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance, moving with enough force like army tank pistons. Pray for the strength of Jah to fight resistance. Fight mode, shields up, moving with resilience.
The strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant. Please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay stay
The
strong.
further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it, refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that decided to never show. Deny my place, I'm back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face, get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors,
With
running
the
through my
strength
veins.
of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, we stay strong. We stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong.
I can see, run to the light at the end of the tunnel winner.
We stay strong.
I can't breathe, we're gonna get oxygen without the justice system.
We stay strong.
And I know, gotta keep my head together.
We stay strong.
Don't doubt me, please don't doubt me.
We stay strong.
Tell me how can we be strong if we still shooting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still looting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still hating? Please tell me now, please tell me now. Tell me how can we be strong if we're still divided? Tell me how can we be strong with egos inflated? Tell me how can we be strong with so much hunger? Please tell me now, please tell me
The
now.
strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong.